A lot of people just go in and start selling our products. I'm going to give you an idea of where I start. When I'm talking to a business owner, conversation examples would be business owner, okay, like business owners like me and you. Why am I saying business owners like you and me or me and you? I'm edifying myself as a business owner, right? I put on my skirt just like he does. Okay. Y'all are awake. Okay. We make legal decisions every day. Business owners like you and me, we make legal decisions every single day on behalf of our business. Many of us will seek advice from unqualified people. Listen to what I'm saying. Many of us seek advice from unqualified people, and guess what? We listen. Isn't that a shame? You know what we do? We keep our fingers crossed. And if it sounds logical, it's just got to be legal. There's hundreds of reasons why we would need to use attorneys, but there's mainly one reason why we don't. Do you know what that one reason is? Cost. Business owner, if I could show you a way to take away that cost and allow you to use all those many hundreds of reasons why you need to allow you to use the legal system, would you be interested in what I have to say? Right? Is that a good conversational piece to start with? Okay. I also like to ask them, how many business decisions does your staff make on behalf of your business a day? Okay. Does your HR director or your office manager have the authority to pick up the phone and call an attorney or a consultant without prior authority from you? You mean to tell me that you pay your office manager or your HR director a salary or a great hourly wage to make decisions on behalf of your business, but you don't allow them to talk to qualified attorneys before they make those decisions? Wow. That could be a scary thought, Mr. Business Owner, because that decision they make still will come back and haunt you. You mean you don't give them a blank check to be able to use the legal system? How about if I told you that you could actually write a check for $75 a month and they'd be able to utilize the legal system and make solid, sound decisions for your business? Would you be interested in knowing how that would work? Is this good stuff? Okay, you got quiet on me, I'm just wondering, okay? This is my new one that I started using this year, and it's not up here. But I like to ask business owners, how many finger cross decisions or Google decisions do they make a day on behalf of their business? Because think about it, how many Google decisions are they making a day? Quite a few. You know, the HR director will get on the computer and they'll just start Googling stuff. Oh, right here's the answer. Yeah, but you didn't realize that that answer was from 2011 and oh, what's this year? 2012 might not be the appropriate answer. I like to say things like this to business owners. Being proactive and preventive in our daily decisions keeps us from becoming reactive and defensive. But having access to qualified attorneys on your daily decisions, meaning being proactive and preventive, can be expensive. Would you like for me to share with you a way that you could actually afford to do that on a daily basis? And then those last two phrases are exactly what I was sharing with you earlier. You know, small business has big business problems, but they don't have big business resources. And we actually give small business owners big business resources on a small business budget. We actually can level the playing field with that business owner into the legal world. Okay? I was with one of my associates. I was field training her for a couple weeks, and anyway, long story short, I went into an appointment with her, and she's picked up on some of my wording, and I had to write this one down because she twisted it in her own words, and it sounded great. I was like, I'm gonna have to use that. She said, Mr. Business Owner, we can actually save you money, not cost you money. A finger crossed decision or a Google decision will cost you money. See, so she took my wording, but she turned it around into her own, and I said, that's fantastic. It's good stuff. Right? So why would they want or need a consultation? We've got to expose that need, okay? And so let's get into the plan itself, and let's talk about why they would want to have our program, okay? Let's talk about this. When I'm talking to a business owner, let's just say on consultation, if you are not figuring out a way to take your brochure and each one of the bullet points of coverage be able to show the value of the cost just with that one bullet point, you're missing the boat. Meaning consultation is well worth $75 a month. Right. Correspondence by itself, well worth $75 a month. Debt collection, well worth $75 a month. Are you all following me? Yes. You have to get skilled in doing this. Once again, that goes back to knowing your products. You have to know your products, okay? Now, one of the preferences I like to use when I'm talking to a business owner, just like a school teacher, and I was sharing this with my group last night, I like to say to business owners, you know, when I share this information with you, you're going to be like, wow, that's a no-brainer, Melissa. Where have you been? Because smart business owners will get this, right? Because if they don't get it, Mark, then they're telling me they don't have a brain, right? Okay. And some of my business owners, halfway through, they're like, oh, that was good. Because you're telling me if I don't want this, I don't have a brain, right? But they're starting to pick up on it. But think about this. Let's just talk about all we have. All we have to offer them is consultation, and it's $75. How would you get across to that business owner that that consultation is worth that cost? Okay? I'm going to give an example of how I am working this angle. Okay? Do you limit your legal questions based on attorney hourly fees? Do you have to prioritize your legal questions based on cost? Does your office manager, HR director make Google decisions for you? Even with a pressing legal question, does it take time for you to get answers? And do you have time to wait for those answers? I'm going to incorporate all those questions into one little conversation. I walked into one of my girlfriend's franchise business. Now, franchise owners, they have franchise attorneys, yes? Okay. And I also know that he's a pretty smart business owner, that he obviously would tell me that he has access to his own business attorney locally as well, correct? So don't disqualify the fact that they are going to tell you they have attorneys. They should have attorneys. So my anticipation when I'm talking to a business owner is, I know you're a smart business owner, so I know you have qualified attorneys that you already use. That's how I start the conversation with him, right? Because whether he does or not, or whether he, freely has access or not, I want him to acknowledge the fact that I feel he should, and as a smart business owner, he would, right? So my girlfriend wanted me to share with her husband at this franchise our plan. Now, she wanted me to convince him that he needed it. Do I convince anybody he needs it? No, but I sure can persuade his decision-making mind, okay? So I go into the business, and, I talk to her for a few minutes, and he comes out, and I said, Mike, I said, can I ask you a few questions? Would you mind if I ask you a few questions? Remember, selling's not telling, selling is asking. And I said to him, I said, now, as a smart business owner, as a franchise business owner, I know you have franchise attorneys, and I know you have your own personal attorneys. I said, but I also know they can be expensive, right? He said, well, yeah, of course. I said, well, of course, if it's a good qualified attorney, of course it's going to cost you some money to get good qualified answers. If you're using Joe Smo down the street, then let's not worry about the cost, but let's worry about the answer you get. Okay, but I said, so based on that, I said, do you just freely, every time you have a thought, question, concern, or issue, do you just freely just pick up your cell phone or your office phone here as much as you need to and just dial directly into him and just ask all the questions you want? He said, well, no. I said, also, it's fair to say that you sometimes make finger-crossed decisions or Google decisions and things like that because, what's logical must be legal. And he kind of smiled and he said, well, yeah, I do limit my questions. And I said, well, let me ask you a question then again. If you do have a really pressing question, though, something that you really need a legal answer for, you need to talk to an attorney about it. If you call that qualified attorney that you're using for your business and he's good, he's busy, So if you call him and you have that pressing question, does he like call you back on speed dial and just give you that answer right then and there, or do you have to wait a little while? He said, well, sometimes I have to wait. And I said, it's kind of stressful, isn't it? But you're still going to pay him those hourly fees even though you're waiting. And he said, well, yeah, because I need the answer. Okay? I said, so let me make sure I understand this. So you do have qualified attorneys, but you still have to limit your usage. You have to limit your questions or prioritize your questions based on cost. Or if you have a pressing question, you still have to wait for him to get back to you at his convenience. He said, yeah, that's just about how it works. And I said, well, if you knew there was a program out there where you never had to limit your questions, you never had to do finger cross decisions or Google decisions, you didn't have to prioritize any of your questions, and as a matter of fact, they'd call you back within 6 to 8 business hours. I mean, they're very efficient. If you knew there was a program where you'd had access to a law firm of attorneys that are just as good as your attorney for a flat fee of $75 a month, what would you think about a program like that? He said, well, if there was a program like that, Melissa, I'd have it. I said, really? I said, well, Mike, that's what I do. He said, what do you mean? I said, I can do exactly what I said for $75 a month. He said, sign me up. I shut up and I signed him up. Now, 2 weeks later, I go back to follow up because we always follow up. So I'm activating his Go Small Biz, which we should. I'm showing him how to ask a question and we submit a question, which we should. We got to put these guys to work. That's why they're there, okay? I also then will help him understand the online legal forms because they're so powerful. And then I also teach him how to use the legal side of it. But it's amazing because I pull out the brochure and I get into correspondence. And I said, well, now wouldn't it be great to have a qualified law firm write letters on behalf of your business so you don't have to worry about dealing with it? And he said, well, yeah, Melissa. He said, but how much more is that going to cost me? I said, Mike, that's included. He said, wow. He said, you didn't tell me that the other day. I said, I know. And then we get the debt collection letters. And I said, now, look, I'm not sure how you're handling your debt right now. I said, in our program, we're going to give you 10 initial debt collection letters a month also to help you deal with, obviously, some of the problems that you're facing with debt. And he said, okay, Melissa, but how much is that going to cost me? I said, Mike, that's included in the membership. He said, what else you got? But you understand, he immediately saw the value just in what? Consultation. Yeah. Did I have to pull out a brochure or a flip book and do a fancy presentation to connect to him about need? No. Is this making sense? Yeah.